doing? Martha,
Pachito,
good to
man.
see you.
Legendary Pachito.
I know I still have yet to meet Pachito,
Yeah, I know
which
in
is
person. He's just like a ghost in the wind. You're a ghost in the machine.
yeah, he is. I mean, it's really a bummer. Like, I'd love to meet Pachito in person. I was hoping he'd come to Mexico this year, but um,
I know,
Nuno and
right?
I
I
both
know.
got snowed in. Our flights got canceled, so we are leaving tomorrow for the beautiful Cancun, Mexico. But today we have a special presentation for you. So let me look and see if Angel's in the room yet. Nope. Got Eric, Gabe, George, Herbie. Love your name, Herbie Cuevas. Got Jason, Jowdan. Jowdan, thank you for being a longtime supporter of me. Really appreciate you, brother. Jonathan, good to see you. Got a lot of people I recognize in here and a couple I don't, which is amazing. Ramon, what's going on? Good to see you, brother. Try and delete these note taker images as they come in. So do me a favor. What up, Titus? How's your sales process going, brother?
Oh man, a lot of note takers, huh?
I know the note takers are killer, man. I try and mute them as best as possible. Titus actually has a pretty amazing product. He's been working on some unique solutions for B2B and larger businesses in like the voice AI and conversation AI space. Um, and we've been coaching on sales presence and teaching him about how to do like sales presence in front of his family,
Nice.
which I think is probably one of my favorite like sales tactics is like if you have kids, especially younger kids, to run a demo, but tell your wife that she's not allowed to interrupt you, that she has to handle whatever the kids do, and you just have to power through it. It's like the greatest tactic for just not getting
Divorce.
phased. Yeah, yeah, that too. But it's like the greatest tactic for not getting phased when you're doing sales demos. Is to have your kids like clinging on to you and you're just reading off the script like
That's pretty funny.
nothing's going on. That was an old trick that they taught me in Sandler sales training. All right, guys, we got about one more minute. We're gonna get started.
Mario, check your messenger.
Yes, sir. Uh, got it. And I also actually, Nuno, I made a repository for us. So I'm gonna drop that in the Zoom chat here in a second. I made a whole ass GitHub repository for us to be able to share this. And we're actually going to switch from DigitalOcean to VirtualBox because
That
there
works
were
just the same.
some major concerns that I flagged in actually doing it in DigitalOcean, specifically with Claudebot's authorization is
Mm.
not the most secure. So VirtualBox is a lot easier for people too. Plus, it's free. Can't beat it. So that is the repository that we are going to be working off of today, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, so you want me kind
So
of intro on what we're doing with this crazy kind of
yeah,
thing?
we are getting started right now. So our stream is live. Welcome everybody. My name is Mario Aldayuz, and I'm your host today for Legendary Academy. Again, this is our weekly series of webinars Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with office hours on Tuesday and Thursday. We cover everything from the repository name, Bev, is Claudebot, CLAWDBOT, and it's under the Notorious Llama. If you search the Notorious Llama, you will find that repository. Um, Welcome everyone. So again, this is our weekly series. We host Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, and Tuesday and Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time for office hours. So the goal of this webinar is really to empower everybody, to make sure that you have an opportunity to learn AI and technology in a safe space. We've covered so far vibe coding. We did a ton of vibe coding. We built apps. We talked about prompting. We ran over the basics of AI. We've covered MCPs so far. We've got all of those in the community under the replays area. But today we have an amazing special guest, Mr. Nuno Tavares. For those of you not familiar with at Automated Marketer, I'm going to drop his YouTube link in the Zoom chat. It is at Automated Marketer. And Nuno is a legend in our community. So I am absolutely ecstatic to have him on Zoom today to talk about something really cool. So I'll kick it off to you, Nuno. Go ahead and let's do the intro.
Yeah, so we that literally, if you're on the internet and you guys are in the marketing world, the feed and YouTube and everything's been blowing up with Claudebot. Claudebot, CLAWB, and then bot afterwards, is a new basic interface that's very autonomous. Like it does things on its own and it has what apparently looks like unlimited memory. You install it on your computer and it literally takes over your computer and does a bunch of stuff. The only thing is we don't want you to install it on your computer because as Mario mentioned, there's a lot of possible security risks. So before you believe the hype of all the gurus and people throwing this out there like, oh, install it, it's perfectly fine. People are going out and even buying like little Mac minis to just run it on their Mac minis like nonstop. But what we wanted to do is show you guys like a very easy, like no frills kind of way of doing it in a virtual setting where you don't have to get like a $500 Mac Mini, and you can just use it and then also be very careful with what you give it so then you can control that this thing doesn't take over your computer, get all your passwords, banking information, and stuff like that, because there are some pretty significant security risks if you guys are doing it. But the reason why this is so cool, this was the like original idea that Claude Code, and I think it's working its way to be there. A lot of people that are using Claude Code, it's a little bit more advanced. They have now Claude Cowork, and Claude Cowork does this already. You download it on your Mac. Claude is a pretty, stable environment, and it does automatically go in there and, just kind of take over and does stuff for you. Like it automatically files your files. It does stuff on your desktop. It can check your emails, whatever you give it access to. Well, Claudebot apparently does it in a very hyperactive way where it's completely autonomous and it does some pretty intense tasks. So what we're going to do today is one, show you how to install on a virtual system for like, again, a lot cheaper than going out and buying a Mac Mini, and a lot safer than putting it on your actual laptop or normal PC. And honestly, if you do this right, a lot of people have already started using it. They're posting outstanding things that this thing is doing. It's posting on social media for them. It's doing shopping for them. It's basically writing posts. It's doing blog posts. It's doing all this stuff that we did. And the key thing about this thing is it can learn skills. And at the same time, just like Claude Code can, it can learn skills. And you can also have it automate and then schedule it also. But imagine this thing being able to literally act like a human, like a full-fledged assistant, and actually doing all these things for you. So before you guys go out there and you're installing this thing on your PC and all of a sudden it's completely, destroying your laptop, we want to make sure that you guys understand that what you would want to do inside this. So, because again, this is going to be a growing trend. If it's blowing up this fast right now, we want to make sure we stay on top of it, but we want to make sure you guys are all safe. So Mario and I decided to go in there and we're going to do it virtually to see if we can build this thing out. And then you guys will then in turn, have it for yourself so you can try it in a safe environment, but then definitely play around with this thing because this thing will create a real life assistant that can do physical things for you, which I think is going to be a real killer at the point. So Mario, with that, let's get cranking. And we'll give you a guide afterwards. We're rewriting the guide for VirtualBox because we had it for DigitalOcean. So we'll keep that again, we'll provide that guide for you so you have step-by-steps with some practical examples of things you can do.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to share my screen. So the first step today that we are going to do is to download VirtualBox. So I have put in the Zoom chat the link for virtualbox.org. So all you have to do is click download right here on virtualbox.org. Click the type of platform that you have. Most of you are going to be Windows or probably Apple Silicon, which is the M chips. If you are not an M chip, you will want the Intel version. You will also want to download the extensions pack. So that's going to be about 150 megabytes of download for you, which is not too terribly much. But once you get that downloaded, now what VirtualBox is it's essentially a virtualization environment. So think How many of you drop a one in the chat if you watched the Super Bowl in the 90s? Drop a one in the chat if you watched the Super Bowl in the 90s. Let's do an age check really quick. All right, we've got a couple people that have watched the Super Bowl in the 90s. So you probably remember that there was a lot going on during the Super Bowl. There were lots of commercials and all sorts of things, but there were also a lot of really good programming going on, and there was a lot of news happening and things like that. So they came out with this thing called Picture in Picture, right? So Picture in Picture was where you could have a little screen inside of your main TV that showed another channel. So it would allow you to have two channels running 97 Super Bowl team, go pack. Um, yes, go Bills. I know, right? I am excited about the Seahawks actually winning this year. That was an amazing game yesterday. But anyways, all that to say, picture in picture is the same principle as VirtualBox. So it allows you to have a virtual computer living inside of your computer that's a totally separate channel on the dial. And what that means is you can actually protect your main computer by having a sandbox or virtual environment inside of VirtualBox. So most of you should have VirtualBox downloaded by now. You're also going to want to go to this Ubuntu desktop download. And this is something I also put in the Zoom chat. I will also drop this back in the Zoom chat just to make sure everyone has access to both of them. So I put both of those in the Zoom chat. Make sure that you select and go download those. Now, the Ubuntu desktop is probably going to take a little bit longer. It's a slightly bigger file just in general. So you're going to want to download that. It may take a little bit of time if you don't have the fastest internet. But this is what we are going to select for today to be able to use ClaudeBot. So let's go ahead and get into VirtualBox. So let me span over my VirtualBox window and get everything lined up in my windows. So inside of here in VirtualBox, this is what it looks like when you launch it. I am on a Windows machine. It looks basically the same on iOS, I mean on Apple, Mac OS, and actually on Linux too. So I wouldn't recommend running ClaudeBot on Linux directly or Mac OS directly, no matter what. As Nuno said earlier, there are some pretty serious security implications associated with running ClaudeBot. You're essentially giving AI unfettered control over your computer, and that is very dangerous. Think Skynet, and I mean that in the most serious way possible. What would happen if the AI decided to accidentally delete all of the stuff on your computer? It would be unrecoverable. So we don't want that to happen, right? Or let's say that somehow, God forbid, the AI got hacked or it read something on a screen that caused it to run a command on your computer. All of these things are incredibly possible scenarios associated with AI running on your computer. So we don't recommend running AI directly inside of your computer. Instead, we're going to use Oracle's VirtualBox Manager. We're going to click New, and we are going to select a virtual machine. Now, this is the virtual ISO that you just downloaded, which is designed for Ubuntu's desktop version, which will run inside of VirtualBox. And we're going to name this ClaudeBot. Okay. And we're going to leave everything else checked. So we proceed with unattended installation. We don't need to worry about any of this. We're just going to hit next. The user that we're going to select is going to be ClaudeBot. Or actually, we're going to select our name. I'll do Mario password. Put in my password, which I'm not going to share with you out of security purposes. We are going to leave the product key alone. We don't need that. We are going to install the guest editions. So I have the guest editions downloaded. It won't disconnect your network for more than a fraction of a second, Michael. You won't even notice. We're going to hit next. We're probably going to select a little bit more memory. So I'm going to do 2048. And I'm going to go ahead and do 4 CPUs and a disk size of 50 gigabytes. Okay, so we could even do 4096 in the megabytes, and this is all spec'd out in the document for you. So in the document that we're going to share via the community group, this is all spec'd out, and most of the repository will configure a lot of this for you. So the next thing we're going to do is hit next. And Bev, the recording will be in Legendary Academy and VC Inc. Danny,
Yeah,
Docker
by the way,
container.
Mario, real quick, we are also going to cut this up and this will become a YouTube video for all of you,
Yep.
so we'll be able to reference it.
Yep. So this is going to power up the VM. So I just went through the basic installation steps. And this is going to do some erroring, apparently. So let's take a look at what error came up. I have 128 gigabytes of memory on this computer and 256 on my Linux machine that I'm building. Let's
You don't
do
even want to know
set
how much I have. I think there's 26 terabytes in my house right now.
of RAM.
No, not RAM. RAM 128, but
Oh yeah. I was gonna say no. I have like a 12 terabyte hard drive in this PC. Imported symbol not found. Efail console wrap. So everybody, this is actually a really good example of when things don't work. So I'm just gonna copy and paste this, and I'm actually gonna go back to ChatGPT really quick. So I'm gonna hit up ChatGPT and put in this command. And what this is going to do is this is going to tell us why it's failing. So this is pretty common whenever you're doing stuff that is what we call like bleeding edge technology. Um, User mode binary, special gradient, ring zero module. Reboot Windows once. Do a clean install of VirtualBox. Reinstall the matching extension pack. So I did download the extension pack. So let me open up that extension pack. And install that. And let's see if I can get this to boot. Yeah, I know, Andre. It's insane how expensive RAM is right now. Like I was looking at I have a virtual server at Tiernet that has a terabyte of RAM. And I was like, I don't even want to know how much they spent on that RAM for that server. And it's DDR5. It's running a Threadripper 92 core AMD chip. And so it has a terabyte of RAM. It's freaking insane. That computer is like, I use it for AI processing. It's got 8 RTX 6000 Blackwell editions on it. And
ridiculous.
it's freaking insane.
For anybody that
Uh,
doesn't understand any of this, what this any of this means, it means that that thing can probably tap into NASA and build a satellite by itself. So I mean, it's like a little overkill.
yeah, it's pretty insanely powerful. I use it for AI training. So we're still getting an issue. Nuno, can you download VirtualBox on your computer and check
Yeah.
out if you can launch it? Because I'm still getting an issue. I'm gonna try and boot it without the extensions pack and see if I may have to restart my computer really quick. So I'll transfer hosts to you. Um, Not encrypted, running the right display. System.
Where did you get the? Where were the extensions pack?
It's on
Oh,
the
I
same
saw it.
page
Yeah, I
as
saw
the
it. I saw
yeah.
it. Yeah.
All right, Nuno, I'm going to transfer hosts to you really quick, and
Yep.
I will be back in about 5 seconds once my computer boots super fast. So, let me find the Zoom window. Yeah, so we're going to do it in VirtualBox, not inside of DigitalOcean. And the reason we're doing it in VirtualBox is because DigitalOcean doesn't have a secure way to access ClaudeBot remotely. So that's why we're doing it in or DigitalOcean, yeah, doesn't have a secure way to access ClaudeBot remotely. That's why we're doing it inside of VirtualBox. And I will be, let me open up Zoom if I can find it. There we go. Participants, panelists, make Nuno host. Nuno, yeah, you'll be good. Change the host, and I will stop sharing my screen, and I am going to bounce my computer.
All right. In the meantime, again, the reason why we're doing that whole big shift, and a lot of people have been asking DigitalOcean, like I said, you just got to be really careful. The main part of what we're trying not to do, and what everybody's kind of really being risky. This is why people are going out and they're buying like mini Macs that are just running this on the side and that you can access, is because like once you give it access to the entire computer, if that computer has files or access to, let's say, photos, private information like your tax documents or anything like that, that's what you're standing to risk, and that's what we're trying to avoid for you all. So we are trying to find the most like sincere way of going in there without preventing any risk. You could do it with a possible Docker instance. There's all, yeah, host singer's fine. You can use AWS. You can do a different bunch of reasons, like a different bunch of like servers in order for this to work. VirtualBox is also free, so for a lot of us that don't want to pay any extra money to servers, you can also do that. So there is a lot of things you can do here. The main goal is just don't set it up on your main PC. That's it. However you want to do it, go ahead. Even if you had an old PC that you're no longer using, it's formatted, doesn't have a lot of your personal information, this is perfect to run on those boxes. But again, the main goal is you want to keep it through and keep it far away. And we're going to get into the reasons, again, more why. I got VirtualBox in here, but I'll wait because then this thing will also disconnect me and bad things will happen. So let's just wait until Mario gets back. And we'll go through. All right. Yeah, somebody set it up on AWS today. So, I mean, there's a lot of like crafty people that are doing some smart things. So, we just want to make sure. And was it you, Danny? Were you saying about Docker? Yeah, I haven't seen anybody trying out
Uh,
Docker.
yeah, I'm getting some of the questions from Facebook as well, and someone asked
Mm.
specifically about Docker, but I know Mario earlier said that y'all were going to originally do it on DigitalOcean before switching to VirtualBox. So I was curious why the switch.
Yeah. So again, because like when we started going, you kind of heard Mario say like you were yeah, there was just like a lot of security risks. So all the APIs and stuff would have been out in the public. So
Mm.
as that thing was switching back information, it would have exposed your API key. So that would have been a pretty significant problem,
Oh
especially if you
yeah.
start connecting to like Google or calendars or Drive or whatever else. So you got to be really careful because this thing, if you give it access to, be careful, you have to go over and delete all your stuff. Yes. Where you got to be kind of really careful, Mike. So yeah, that's a really good point. But that's kind of where we are now. I don't see him coming in.
I hear his computer booting up, but I also haven't heard any sounds of anger, so hopefully we're going the right way.
Yeah, and we're all like trying to pack and get this out before Cancun tomorrow.
Oh yeah, there's currently a pile of laundry in our washing machine, so.
All right, team, let's give it a sec. And I'm afraid of adding the extensions. You said the extensions are what failed. Yeah, give it a second, guys. We're gonna just get it up and going. Sorry for the little pause. Like I said, we're also working on a guide to get this all down, but we want to make sure we have the right setup. Come on. While we're waiting, though, I will go over some of the things that you can do with this thing. So you might want to write these down. So a couple things, right? So everybody's heard about the research assistant and everything else. Like we can do that with like chat. We can do that with Claude. This thing will actually go out and do the same exact thing, like research the best laptops. But it will go in and you can give it a skill of like exactly what you look for when you're shopping. You can set it out to go get coupon codes for you and search all the things. So that's pretty common, right? You could go in and you can also do it where it's going in and answering your emails, and it actually might play video games. So if you guys ever heard of robotics process automation, well, robotics process automation is when an actual physical robot will take over your computer and actually click on screens and do all this. This thing can post on your personal Facebook on your behalf. Somebody's been doing it all day. I don't know if it searches better than Perplexity unless you give it a skill set to do that, but you can give it access to Perplexity to do better searches as you're doing whatever. It can give her like a daily recap of like all your emails and things you got to get done. So what does my day look like today? And it can give you like a daily recap in the morning. It can schedule appointments for you using Telegram. So if you connect it to Telegram and you message it through Telegram to say, hey, go book an appointment for blah, 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 and you give it an email address, it can go ahead and do that. So it is based on what it has access to. So it does do quite a bit on there. So the more things you connect to it, the more power it'll have. But again, you want to use caution with anything in that space and just be very, very cautious as you do it, right? But you could do it a little bit at a time, give it whatever access. But like I said, people are writing like blog posts and posting them. It's just posts. Like right now, if we wanted to post on our personal blog, our personal like let's say Facebook, right? We couldn't do it because there's no Facebook connection to your personal. So what you do is you give it your login, and this thing will actually post on your behalf inside of Facebook directly from whatever command you got it going to. So again, just offer like how much do you want to give it access to, and then work backwards from there. But that is the general kind of like setting in that whole space.
What is up, my homie? I am back in
All
business.
right,
All
rock and
right.
roll, man.
Let's rock and roll, baby. Sorry about that, everybody. My computer has some advanced security measures on it because of the AI stuff that I run. So that turned out to be the actual issue. All right, so we are in VirtualBox, and we have VirtualBox open here in our Claude bot. This is what it looks like when you go to install Ubuntu. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to install Ubuntu. It's that first option there. It's going to boot up just like this. Ubuntu, for those of you who don't know, is a Linux distribution. Linux is one of the oldest operating systems and actually is what Unix and Linux power the majority of the world. Windows is a small subset of predominantly user-based components. Linux is actually the preferred operating system for basically everything. So it's pretty powerful. So what we're going to do is we are going to quickly install Ubuntu. And it's just going to prepare that driver for us really quick. So it's going to take a second. We're going to hit next. We're basically just going to go through all of these prompts, use wired connections, skip the updates, install Ubuntu. Automated, we'll use interactive installation, default selection, install third-party software, download and install support for additional media formats. We're basically just doing a basic operating system install. So this is nothing crazy. This is just like what you use for installing Windows. So I'm going to put in my name, put in my password. Use password to log in. I am in New York City or near New York City. We're going to hit install. And so again, basic operating system installation. This is nothing crazy. I am going to expand this view a little bit. So adjust to Windows size. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger. And again, the reason we're doing this in VirtualBox, guys, is like Nuno said, it's for security purposes. We don't want to give ClaudeBot unfettered access to our actual machines. That's very dangerous. One of the things that you need to be aware of is that there's something called script injections. And what script injections mean is that um, when the AI is reading something on a screen, if the AI doesn't have the necessary protections in place, which the protections are evolving constantly, if the AI reads like an image or something like that that has a nefarious code embedded in it, it may actually execute something dangerous on your computer that could do things like steal your credit card information or change your Facebook password. Because again, this is an autonomous system that runs on your computer. So that's why we're doing this in VirtualBox. And I think Nuno made a really good point earlier when I was like, why not just run it on my PC? And he was like, no, dude, think about the security. And I was like, yeah, dude, you're right. And that's again why people are buying like Mac Minis off the internet. But this is a much cheaper way. It's free to run VirtualBox with Ubuntu, and you can run this on any PC or Mac on the market. So super easy to use.
I need the rewind button. I think the biggest thing that maybe people went and missed was how to actually get the virtual box up and going to install
So
Ubuntu.
it should work on most people's computers. Mine just has a special HVCI security measure in it that I had to turn off temporarily.
Yeah, Michael's saying, yeah, you blasted that.
Yeah, that's not something that people should have trouble with. However, if you do need to roll your installation back, there is a download file which I will share with you right now.
Well, not even roll the installation. I think it was just we missed the part where it just like it opened the virtual box for us to install Ubuntu or Ubuntu. I always
Oh,
say
gotcha. Yeah, absolutely. I can definitely show you guys how to do that. So in VirtualBox, all you have to do is hit new, and you're going to type in your name. So this will be Claude
Oh, and by the
Bot.
way, are we installing the extensions before we do this or
Yes.
during? Okay.
Yeah, the extensions get installed before you do this.
Yeah, so just real quick recap for everybody. You're going to install Ubuntu first. I'm sorry. You're going to install VirtualBox first, then the extensions, and then you can hit the new button.
Yep. So new in the top left. We're going to type in our name, and I'll zoom this in a little bit so you guys can see it a little bit better while I'm typing this in. Sorry, I have to manually adjust my screen size. It's kind of a pain in the behind. Disadvantage to having two gigantic monitors. So what we're going to do is we're going to type in the name for ClaudeBot V2. We're going to select where we want that virtual machine hosted. And then we're going to select this downloaded file. You may have to select other, and then go into your downloads and select that downloaded ISO. And then you want to install guest editions, and you need to put in your username and password right here in VirtualBox. Okay, so you're going to just put in your username, Mario, my password. All right, then what we're going to do is we're going to hit finish. And this is where we're going to take over where it's running the actual installation itself. So it's installing the system. And this should take probably maybe 10 minutes. We're about 7 minutes in, so this should be installing pretty quickly. So Nuno, what are you most excited about for Cancun?
Seeing you, bro.
I know,
Hanging
man.
out.
Michael, you downloaded the ISO from the Zoom chat that I put in earlier, which let me go ahead and go over here. And I will share that ISO with you one more time. There you go. Yeah, I'm excited to see you too, man. I think we're going to have a good time. I'm really excited to teach people. So my speaking topic is going to be MCPs and APIs. So ClaudeBot's actually super relevant to what I'm going to be teaching people on Thursday and Friday. But I'm absolutely stoked to learn, especially what, like Haley's been doing in N8N, what Fur's been up to with some of his cloning projects and like the AI website builder that he's releasing and all this other stuff. Like it's going to be such an action-packed
It is. There's
week.
a lot of heavy hitters though. Yeah, I wish a lot of you guys can come, man. It's going to be pretty crazy. I mean, I'm just excited that with the powerhouse of people we have, we're going to be doing a lot of vibe coding, and we have late night office hours that we're going to be hosting there. So we're going to be building like I'm the type of person that like to eat, chill out, bring my PJs, and like start building some crazy stuff. So it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, and we get to see
Yeah, when
JB.
JB's going, yeah, that's going to be
Yeah, I'm
exciting.
super excited for that, man. Show program, man. This is not
Yeah, only thing about
cooperating.
sucks about building live, guys, is that there's always something that goes possibly wrong in here.
All right, well, the good news is it will install normally on your computer. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into Firefox. So I'm actually going to go into install Ubuntu and run the try Ubuntu really quick. So what we were going to do is we were going to go into the repo that I shared. I'm going to share this again in the Zoom chat. So that's going to be GitHub, Notorious, Llama, Claude Bot. And this is going to bring up GitHub repository, which I spelled something wrong. I'm like Nuno today.
Would you say
Notorious
my
Llama. There
my
we go.
spell check works on overtime?
Yeah, man. Absolutely. I love it though.
If you guys ever
Uh,
want to like torture yourselves and watch me spelling, it's quite entertaining.
so what we're going to do next is we're going to open up a terminal. So who here, drop a 3 in the chat if you've ever used a terminal before. Okay, so we got some people that have used terminal before. I know Chelsea has. Chelsea, Nuno, you got to see Chelsea's app, dude.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
psyched.
I'm pretty genuinely impressed with her app and like what she's been doing. The level of vibe coding and what she's taught herself is seriously impressive. When she showed me everything, I was like, dang, girl, you have no programming experience. And she was like, none whatsoever. And I was like, okay, because you're like almost to mine and Nuno's level, and that's pretty impressive.
I love it.
So we're gonna paste in that command. Apt install curl. And I'll make this more one step for everybody in the repository. But what we did is we just had to install curl really quick. And then now it should work. So it's going to start the ClaudeBot installation. So I'm going to expand this terminal a little bit. Can everyone see my screen okay, Nuno? Is it okay visible wise?
No, 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 you're rocking. MC DOS, Sean. MC DOS was due. Old school terminal, man. There's some sweaty moments that night.
Oh man, dude, I remember Windows 3.1 and like when I switched off of MS-DOS and had like a GUI. I actually had my dad was an engineer for the state of Wisconsin, and he would always get like the latest because he did bridge load analysis and like he was a software and civil engineer for the DOT. And so they would give him like all of the newest computers and tablets and things like that. And I remember like I had he gave me they got a prototype tablet from Windows. And this was back in Windows 3.1. And I had a prototype tablet that was gray screen. And like it was absolutely great. I took it to school and they were like, you can't have that here. And I was like, why? And they were like, because that's too expensive. And I was like, but I'm like, on the bleeding edge of technology. And they were like, yeah, no.
On the bleeding edge of technology.
That was one thing. Like my dad and I, like, we don't really talk nowadays, but like back in the day, like his version of parenting was he handed me a C++ and a C# book. and told me to go build something to impress him. And like I remember like just staying up with like ramen noodles and coffee, and I was like 8. And he was like,
Smoking
you gotta
cigarettes and like,
pretty
building
much,
stuff.
dude. Like he was like, you gotta code something for me, right? And so I built him a calculator that he could use for bridge load analysis, and he was reasonably impressed.
Very, very cool.
But all right, so we're just gonna wait for this to install, ladies and gentlemen. Um, yeah, I know, Joyce. What's crazy though is that Bev, shout out to Bev, is a COBOL programmer.
Yeah, I
So
know. That's even
you
crazier.
you want to talk about like OG days? Like we can get Bev to get to school us. I actually watched a commercial earlier, um, and it was like a bunch of robots like smashing into cars. And the engineer was like, "What do we do to fix this?" Then the lady said, "We got to get a," or he says, "We got to get a COBOL programmer." And she says, "What's Cobalt?" And I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh man, like the lost technologies nowadays."
Hey, so really crazy. Some of these things that we can do while this thing takes a second to load. So I'm just going to read some of these out, guys, because I think this is going to be important. So communication and messaging, send and receive messages across WhatsApp, Telegram, Discord, Slack, iMessage, Teams, Google Chat, Matrix, draft and send emails automatically, voice calls with custom TTS voices like 11 Labs, transcribe voice messages in email and inbox management, which you talked about, calendar scheduling, traveling and booking, browser automation, log into services and perform actions, configure OAuth and provision API tokens, file and system control, manage GitHub, summarize PDFs and documents, edit and create files, smart home, control Philips Hue light, manage air purifiers, trigger based on conditions, research and information, which we talked about, development and code, manage GitHub workflows, run scripts, debug code, content creation, generate images, produce video content, turn YouTube videos into reusable agent skills. That's pretty cool. Finance and monitoring, monitor crypto, mem coins. A lot of people are using this for crypto for all the crypto bros out there, I guess. Track stock prices, process reimbursements, handle insurance claims, monitor wearable data, track health metrics, send wellness reminders, morning briefings, cron jobs. Cron jobs, there's a scheduled automated task you can give it. Traffic aware reminders, custom skill creation, so you can create skills for anything that this you want this thing to do, and basically teach it the skill you want it to run. And run separate agents for work versus personal, agent collaboration, so they can all talk to each other if you want them to, and route tasks to specialized instances. It's a very advanced Claude code that allows you to do a lot of
So,
this stuff.
so what would you say is your biggest excitement piece, with Claude Like what got you
Uh,
super jazzed about it?
I saw some guy just using this with Claude Code, and it blew my mind. Like literally, he had like 4 or 5 instances running. He had it on a server, and he was just going, and it was just going. And then he had another bot that was like checking security and then testing the app once it was done. And you saw it like literally moving the screen around. So it was pretty insane the way it was going at it. So it's like the real power is combining all this, like having a monitor inbox, summarize what's important, check the calendar, factor in traffic, send briefing before your first meeting, and then it runs all 24/7 for you at all times. So there's no, and there's no running out of memory. This thing does not run out of memory because it's running virtually. And it's also running, without tokens. That's the other thing you got to think about.
All right, so I just got the terminal spun up a little bit bigger so people can see it better. So I'm just going to share that really quick. So it's installing CloudBot now. So you're going to see a bunch of, it's going to install Node.js, NPM, Git's already installed.
Yeah, and Dacia's running into a problem where it says unsupported hardware architecture detected.
Is this for VirtualBox or is this, then you're using the wrong, you need to use the other Apple version more than likely. And it even says here, I understand this is powerful and inherently risky. Continue.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna YOLO it and say yes.
Well, we can YOLO it because we're on a virtual box. Kind of the whole point of what
Mm,
we're trying to do here.
that is very true.
Yeah, I think I think the way the credits are used are vastly different, but we're obviously gonna dig in, guys. We're getting to this before a lot of people are out there, and this is the first iteration in there. But you can use like I think you can use Llama if I'm not mistaken, or
Yeah, you can use all sorts of different AI models. Claudebot is a framework. Again, remember when we did our Foundations of AI chat over this past Friday? We talked about frameworks and how frameworks are overlays of technology on top of AI that's powered by AI, where the engine is the AI and the body of the car is the framework. Same principle with Claudebot.
yeah. So I mean, if you're gonna use Anthropic or OpenAI, you're gonna pay with the API key. You know what I'm saying? And Claude in this is pretty dangerous in the sense of like dangerous, not like dangerous in there, but once you get like Llama or something installed, this is gonna you can be free because
Yep,
Llama
so
you
I'm just
guys
gonna
have.
grab my Claude token.
But at this point, I think Mario and I spend like thousands on Claude, like monthly.
And I'm going to use, I want Opus 4.5, or is it going to give me access to Sonnet 4.5 with the million token context? Oh, no, it won't. All right, I'm going to use Opus 4.5. And I will share my screen momentarily. I just had to get it to where it wouldn't share my API key with you guys. So I am going to do this over. Man, that's a good point. You can do it over Telegram, WhatsApp, Signal,
Yeah, so
iMessage.
we would want to do Telegram because Telegram we don't pay for. I mean, iMessage is pretty badass. I don't know how that's gonna work, but
Well, I mean,
imagine
I would
you
assume
like
that
literally,
you'd have to have blue bubbles set up, which I do.
yeah, and then you would just message it. But I mean, that's gonna be a little harder. Telegram I think is super easy and it's free. So
Yeah, let's do
Microsoft
Telegram.
Teams. Oh,
I've actually never used Telegram before.
yeah. So if you go to Telegram and you want to open up in a separate window, what you want to do is you want to go into Telegram, and then I think it's at Botfather, and it creates like a bot. Yeah. See, oh, it actually gives you the instructions. There it is, right there. Open Telegram and chat with Botfather at Botfather, and then you run a new bot command. Yeah, it's great for bots. It's what we use a lot of our NAN instances when we were like running the Donnas out there. We built a lot of those in the past.
Yeah, someone was just talking about Donna. All right, let me reshare my screen really quick, so I can show Telegram. Someone was just talking about Donna actually on one of these webinars. They're like, I gotta hit up Nuno for a Donna, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I remember Donna. All right, so we're gonna go to Telegram, and I am going to Telegram for PC Linux. Let's download this really quick. And again, folks, this is the fun of building live, right? You're going to run into the same issues that I do sometimes, and sometimes you won't. But
You're
this is
in.
kind of the
Are
fun part
you
about
in?
building live.
Are you in Mbatu now, or did you move over?
I moved over to mine because it was just faster, but
Oh, got
it's
it.
the same exact process. Well, my terminal is in Ubuntu, but I'm interacting with it over Telegram uh,
On Windows, yeah.
on Windows. So I'm going to scan this and link it to my desktop. So you use Telegram, Nuno?
I use for only the bots. I really don't. I try to stay away from it otherwise.
Yeah, I use Signal a lot. I've actually been a big fan of Google Chat lately. Okay, getting this configured. Getting it configured. All right, folks, we are almost done here. So I'm going to log into Telegram again.
Hey, Danny's got a question while we're doing it real quick. Yeah, Danny,
Yeah,
what were
sure.
you
What's
gonna
up?
do?
So I just wanted to make sure that I remember correctly as well. After downloading the VirtualBox and then Ubuntu, however you say Ubuntu, do you then go to GitHub or through the
Yes.
terminal?
Yeah, so you would install Ubuntu and then go to GitHub, and GitHub's going to give you an installation code like right at the top of the repo, and that's what you copy and paste into your terminal.
Perfect. Thank you.
Sure thing. Um, trying to do this. Settings. How do I want this?
So Mike, it will actually connect to your Facebook, but you got to trust it with your username and password. So just to be clear, it will do it. People are doing it now because I see people posting from there. I think some of my smarter people are using something else to log in through
I
Facebook
think
through
that's
some
so
other channels.
dangerous, man, because
Yeah.
it's guys, you got to understand that everyone that's selling these Facebook automation tools for personal profiles and groups are dangerous. Like there's a reason that people keep getting put in Facebook jail, and it's predominantly because they're using these automations tools, and Facebook is very, very much against using these automation tools. Send code via SMS. Just logging into Telegram here really quick. Come on. All right, Telegram. If not, we're going to switch to Slack. Settings, devices, link desktop device. There we go. Yay, we're in Telegram.
Yeah, so now just a message bot father. So if you search at, no, go back to your search. No, you don't even need to do that. Yeah. No, you got to
Okay.
search it. You got to search it. It's like an actual place. There you go. That's the dude. Start. And I believe it's like new bot / new bot. And give it a bot name. So you got to give it a unique name. All. Yeah, it's got to be Nuno _ bot if you're going to do that. I want you to just do Claude bot, man, because this is what it's going to be doing. Awesome. Now it
Okay.
gives you an API key. Yeah, beautiful.
So I'm
And you can
going to
always
rotate
delete the
this
bot.
API key.
Yeah, you could
Yeah.
always delete it and restart. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, I'm going to rotate that API key, but I will paste that in here. Okay, so I want to configure some skills. I've got one password. Ooh, that's scary.
Yeah.
I've got Gemini, Nano, model usage, OpenAI Whisper, Peekaboo. So create search. Where is Google? Oh, there we go. And I want
Well,
Nano
iMessage.
Banana
Yeah,
Pro.
that's
Well,
pretty
I'm
good.
not going to do iMessage on this one because it's Linux.
Yeah. Whisper for transcription too over there.
Let me grab my Gemini API key and pop that in. One second. Yeah, so this really on Mac, I think, is probably the most the
Effective.
most powerful,
Yeah.
but you don't necessarily want to have to buy a Mac to test it out.
And you could
So
build workflows in here, get it kind of like down, semi-packed, and then go from there, and then you can explore. And literally, this costs you nothing.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Set open API key. Let me set my API keys really quick. API key. Yes. 11 labs. Installing some services. I'm just waiting for my API keys to disappear so I can show you guys. All right. Resume. How do you want to hatch your bot? Open the web UI. All right. So now search. If I go here, I need to get this token. And now I am in ClaudeBot. So let's figure out how it works.
Yeah, so a couple things here. So first off, you guys see how there's cron jobs. Again, this is how you could do it. You also see how there's skills on the left-hand side. These are all the things you can, wow, you can connect all kinds of stuff in here.
Yeah, this is pretty insane, dude. This is dangerous. Who released this? This is pretty sick. All right, so let me go into my bot. So I'm gonna go to at Claudie Pants at Claudie Pants bot. Ask the bot owner to approve pairing Telegram. So have you done this before, Nuno?
Not yet, no. This is like I've been slowly playing with it, but like it's this is a whole nother universe, y'all.
Oh, here we go. Pairing. No.
We are in uncharted waters for Nuno here. Yeah. Well, it's not uncharted waters. It's like, well, meaning we're playing with this to see how powerful this thing can be, and then just be really like we're gonna tease it with a couple of tasks, and then we're gonna see how far we can go from there. Yes. Does it work to create lovable apps? Yes, it can. You can literally come
Yep.
in here, create an instance, tell your Telegram bot if you have a bot idea, give it access to Lovable on the browser, let's say. Give it your access code or whatever your login, and this thing will go out there and start creating PRDs and putting into Lovable and creating apps. Like this is how far this thing can go. This has full control over the VirtualBox PC if you give it that. But you have to enable the skills and everything else you have to configure and so forth. So there's going to be a lot of learning into this where you guys literally this is the autonomous agent that you all have been looking for that's working on their own computer. So imagine literally you came into work and here's Clawbot here just doing his own thing, smoking cigarettes all night long because he's been up for like 24 hours, but he's nonstop. Yeah, so yeah, because yeah, you see what Justin's saying. I figured out the Telegram pairing last night and stopped there. So think of it this: your Telegram becomes the way you order the bot to work. So
Yeah.
you literally can have all these instances ready to go. And as we figure this out, like again, team, we're obviously going to be looking into this. And now that we have it in the system, we'll be keeping on playing. And there's probably going to be more and more people releasing videos on how to do this and going from there. Yeah, it could be one of many communication pathways. So you can have Slack, you can have Discord, you can have iMessage, you can have any of the tokens that you want to use. But you said it does use tokens, right? So let me be clear. It uses tokens based on the API you select, but the usage of computer things is not going to use tokens. So if you're like, hey, from Telegram, run whatever, if it has a cron job and you program it to do that, it will do that if it makes sense. So it depends on what you program, because this can actually take programming and what you use AI to then go in and do. So that's that's the craziest thing about this whole thing.
Yeah, so this is, what people are building with ClaudeBot. They're checking incoming mail, removing spam, checking in incoming messages, sending reminders to people. I mean, all of these things, like I have automated on my Stream Decks, but to be able to just programmatically do this is amazing. Like I have actually a couple spare Mac Minis that I'm gonna retask one of them right now. Yeah, you can get the bot to call it. It has integrations with 11 Labs.
And all you got to do is give it a phone number, or it goes directly from anything that has the phone. I think WhatsApp will do it, but you would buy like a separate number for WhatsApp, and then you would assign it to here, and then you would pair it against here, and then it will make calls based on 11 Labs.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, so all right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we have successfully installed ClaudeBot, and on Wednesday, we will have a full demo of what ClaudeBot can do. I'm going to take it for a test drive tonight and get everything configured. And then Nuno and I will actually be in person on Wednesday. So we will do a live in person at 6 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday of what all ClaudeBot can do and the dangers of, like, I'm going to make it call my girlfriend. Like, I have tons of plans for it. Like, I'm pretty stoked. So, yeah, she's like, great.